All right, so for this guy, I'm going to do it this different way, where I'm going to select both of these sprites. I'm going to drag them in here. It's automatically going to ask me if I want to make an animation. And I'm just going to call this enemy, and we will save it. And I'm going to go ahead and make this into the foreground, and we will leave it at 0, okay? And just to get you an idea, I'm going to hit play, and you're going to see it's going to move super duper fast, okay? Now, the reason why is because there's only 2 frames on it, so it's da-da-da-da-da. But what I can do is if I go to the animator, I can select it over here. You can see there's only 1 animation, and I can change the speed here. So if I want to make it smaller, I could do like 0.5, and then you'll see it'll move half as fast. Okay, and thank you. And I could do less or more or whatever. So I'm going to do 0.25. Let's try that. And obviously if I do 2, it'll be twice as fast. Fine, that was fine, I don't care. Good. So there he is there, and he looks pretty okay. So next what we got to do is basically take him and do the same thing we did before. We just kind of animate him moving down. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and rename this to enemy. And I'm going to create a... No, we'll leave it like that, actually. I don't think I need to do that. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and do that. Yeah. So, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just going to go to animation, and I'm going to make an animation above him, an object above him to move him. So I'm just going to create empty, and we'll just call this one enemy again. Enemy. And I'm going to take this one and put it underneath this one. And I'm going to add an animation to this, and I will call this enemy move. And we're going to add a property, and it's just going to be a transform, and we just need position. Okay. Oh, I'm going to switch back to scene view here, and so I'm going to go ahead and back this up. And if you remember, it was 10 seconds is what we did. So I'm going to take this and go to 10. And I'm going to start it off screen, like we'll say here. And then we'll have him come down, and he needs to go off screen. We'll say, like, I don't know, here. And we'll play and see what that looks like. And that looks pretty okay. Looks like he's losing a little bit of ground. I'd rather he moved a little bit farther down. Oops. Make sure we're on our thing here. Okay, I'm going to move him down just a little bit more. And that should be good enough. Okay. Let's just see. Good. Okay. Fabulous. Now I'm going to go back to project, assets. That looks okay. And I am going to do let me see what I want to do. I want this guy to basically throw the computer here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sprites, and I am going to grab why are these animations in my sprites? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to grab the computer here, and oh, it cut it into 2. I didn't really Okay, so I'm going to adjust this. We're going to go to sprite editor because I don't actually like the way that looks. And we're going to do it like that and apply. And let's go to slice, and yeah, we'll just do it like that. There we go. So I'm going to take this and drop this in here. And I'll just go ahead and name this, well, we'll say shot, okay, because this is its shooting. Shot. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and actually also parent this to enemy. So basically, wherever the enemy is, 0 tab 0. It'll move with the enemy to hopefully make that work. Let's 0 this out and 0 this out. Okay. Let's just double check. It should still look okay. Oh, crap. Let's see this. Let's go back to animation. Looks like it might be a little bit off. This should actually be up here. Like so. And then this should be not so far down, but up like here. So let's hit play and see how that looks. Somehow my animation got befuddled here. Okay, let's see it again. Just want to double check. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. So I want to make sure everything's on the up enough because the shot and the enemy were both off. I want to make sure these are all in the same spot. Okay. So looking at my shot here too, I'm going to take the we're going to go to foreground, and I'm actually going to have this be on top. So I'm going to do 1 for that. And I think it needs to be scaled. So I'm going to grab the middle here, and we're going to scale it so that it's a better size for him to throw. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a script for this, because in order to make it do that, I'm going to need to do that. So I'm going to script and create script, and it's going to be a JavaScript. And this one we're going to call the computer script, or actually we'll call it shot script, because yours is probably going to be, he's throwing a computer, but yours will probably be something different. I'm going to double click to open that up. Fabuloso. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is go to, I'm going to have a variable that's going to determine the speed of how fast it's going to get shot. So I'm going to do a variable speed, and it's going to be a float. This is basically the multiplier. And then we're also going to do a variable RB, which is going to hold the rigid body of the shot. So that way it knows what to select. And right on function start, I'm just going to go ahead and have it, I'm going to assign the, I'm going to use get component to basically nab the rigid body that's attached to this. So it's a rigid body 2D, which I haven't actually attached one yet, so that's actually going to have to happen too. So I'm going to assign it there. And then on the update is just basically the update is just going to be it moving. So I'm just going to do RB, and we're going to assign, dot add force, and it's going to be transform dot up, and it's going to be minus speed, because I want it to move downwards, not upwards. So it's going to be moving negative y, not positive y. Good. And then we're going to do another function that basically it's just going to kill whatever it hits, because we need to have that in order to kill the player. Okay, so it's going to be a function, and this again is another built-in one. On trigger enter 2D, and it's going to be the others, what we're going to name the variable that it runs into, and it's going to, we want the collider 2D that we're colliding with. Okay, and we're going to say if the other dot tag, if the tag of the other collider is player, which we haven't made player yet, but we're going to put a tag called player on it, then it's going to run this bit of code. We don't need to put the brackets in there because it's only one line of code. Destroy other. I want to destroy other, and I want to destroy the game object that it is. Okay, like that. And we'll save it. And we'll go in here and hope that, okay, so it says, let's go to console. It 17 does not denote a valid type, so I didn't capitalize that. Control S. All right, and so I'm going to project. You can see only a capital makes all the difference. And so now we'll just hit play and see what happens. So, yay, nothing's happening. And the reason why is because the shot itself has no speed. So let's go ahead and we'll add 10. I don't really know what it needs to be. Awesome. Okay. Also, it has no rigid body. So let's add physics 2D, rigid body, and we're going to make, we'll leave gravity scale on. It actually doesn't matter because it's just going to make it fall. I'm also going to go ahead and add a collider to it. And we'll leave it at the size that it is. And we're going to make it is trigger because on trigger enter I want it to kill things. So now let's see. There you go. Now he's shooting it. Shooting it a bit fast, so I'm going to say speed. Let's try doing 5. Let's hit play. All right. That sounds like a thing. I think I'm gonna delay it a little bit because he's shooting it before he even comes into screen, which I kind of don't like. So instead of putting it on update, let's try doing let's do this. Let's do a function, and we'll call this shoot. And then in start here, I'm going to go ahead and do we'll just do shoot. Shoot, we'll just call it, which actually I got to capitalize it. And then I'm going to take this little bit of code here, and I'm just going to cut it. We'll do the update there for now. Control V. But before it, all right, actually this isn't going to work. We have to type in something different here. Now that I think about it. What I'm going to do instead is, let's just back this up. Enter, tab. Okay. We are going to have to do this a little bit different. It's going to be RB, so the rigid body dot add force, and it's going to actually be vector 2 dot up and then times minus speed because I want it to go downwards. So that will actually make it shoot downwards. Okay, which is fine. Control S, and I'm just gonna go back over here and see. Let's clear this out. Okay, and then if we hit play, it should shoot it downwards. There you go. Yay. So the other thing I have to do is I had is kinematic over here. I'm actually going to turn that off because it actually won't work with is kinematic on. It'll just sit there. So you have to turn this off. But the problem is that normally gravity's on, so it's actually just going to start falling. So you have to do is actually go to gravity scale and turn that to 0. So is kinematic is off and gravity scale is 0. And that way it'll only be based off of the force that's being placed here. Okay. All right, so the other thing I want to do is this. The whole reason of this is to actually make it yield and weight. So I'm going to go and I am going to add a, well, we'll just do it yield, oops, yield, weight for seconds. And we are going to do, I'm going to do up here, I'm going to do a variable. We're going to go shoot weight. And that way I can determine how long I want to wait for. So we'll do yield weight for seconds, and we'll do shoot wait. And that will determine how long it's going to wait to shoot. So that's good. Let's save that. And then the other thing I want to do is, we'll do it in the next video actually because it's just going to take a second. But if you look at it now, what it'll do is if I go here and if I take the shoot wait and let's say I wait 2 seconds now, it will not shoot it until 2 seconds in. So it's not going to throw it right away, and then it does, which is better because I don't want it shooting while he's off screen. Okay, because before it was 0, but by doing 2 seconds, it's going to wait 2 seconds and then throw it. We'll do the next thing on the next one.